Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now invite all of you here to please stand for the national anthem of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Valiant men who have decided to sacrifice everything because they have a vision to lead the people of Sierra Leone over the next 5 years. Now is the time to ask you all to talk to the people of Sierra Leone in your opening shots. Tell them why you are the best person deserving of their votes. First candidate in the order in which you balloted, Alhaji Musa Tarawali of the Citizens Democratic Party. You have 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Moderator, distinguished guests, listeners and viewers, greet you all. Assalamu alaikum. I want to thank God and the organizers of this great event for establishing a platform which I stand to present my inspiration, my experience, and vision as the formula for our growth. I developed this vision at age 16, that of an experienced and seasoned politician. We have to establish a sincere platform on which we place our people the center of national development, making them the ultimate beneficiaries of the process. We have to accept the Almighty God as the foundation and driving force. There is no way we can develop Sierra Leone without the inclusion of our people and that of the fear of God. The inclusion of our people will provide them the capacity to be responsible to government.
And at this moment, I'd like to say thank you very much. You've got the 1 minute left. Alhaji Musa Tarawali. Let's turn now to Dr. Samura Kamara of the All People's Congress.
Thank you, sir. Welcome back to your motherland. Good evening, Sierra Leoneans, family, and good evening. Humble them, I, Samura Kamara, stand before you tonight to let you know that I am very much ready and determined to lead our nation on a shared journey to prosperity. I'm doing so humbled and privileged with the honor bestowed upon me by the All People's Congress Party as their presidential candidate for the 2018 general elections. I'm taking up this responsibility with a humble beginning, with a shared experience, wide experience in managing the affairs of this country for over 40 years, I've been at the sharp end of the challenges and the policies we have taken as a country to move away from the shackles of the war, Ebola, and the mudslide was the fact. I am sure you, by my side, will move Sierra Leone from the solid foundation we have as a party built for the. I sat behind any from that broadcasting board. I'm going to use that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samura Kamara of the All People's Congress. Let's turn now to retired Brigadier Julius Madabio of the Sierra Leone People's Party. Your opening show.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Today, Sierra Leone is at the crossroad. After 57 years of independence, this great nation is still unequal and undivided and a divided society. We have not fulfilled the development aspirations of all Sierra Leoneans. So this election is actually about the future of this great nation, the future of our children, and the future of our children's children. What is now abundantly clear is that the 10 years of APC misrule and economic mismanagement has definitely created considerable suffering for the people of this country. From Kamakwie to Pujehu, from Kono to Freetown, and everywhere, people are suffering under the weight of corruption and the mismanagement of the All People's Congress. I have seen it at first hand, from Falaba to Kedima and from Kailan to Port Loko. The people want change. The people are tired of the suffering of paying for a bag of rice at 200,000 from only 60,000 in 2007. The people want democratic change to end their suffering. But what type of change do we want for this great nation? What type of change do we want for our children's future? What type of change?
Retired Brigadier Julius Madabio of the Sierra Leone People's Party. Let's turn now to Mr. Mohamed Kamarimba Mansare of the Alliance Democratic Party.
Fellow Sierra Leoneans, I greet you with humility. There's light end of the tunnel. Definitely light at the end of the tunnel. The 19th of January, I completed nominations with NEC to be a presidential candidate. Officially, my name is going to be changed in 3 weeks from Mohamed Kamarimba Mansare to His Excellency President Mohamed Kamarimba Mansare. I want to assure you, if you're the most fitted person currently here, the person that knows where to take Sierra Leone, the person who knows how to create opportunities for this country, is me. Every Sierra Leone will agree that my fellow colleagues here, they've served this country. Their records, I cannot, as the next 2 hours, they will tell their own records. But I can show you, come March 7th, I'm going to deliver this country with real opportunities and make this country a better country. I want to thank you all.
Mr. Mohamed Kamarimba Mansare of the Alliance Democratic Party. And next we have Dr. Kande Kole Yunkela of the National Grand Coalition.
Fellow Sierra Leoneans, I joined politics, be able to create an inclusive, fair, free and just society in which every citizen can unleash their potential. My vision is to create a dynamic, expanding economy that will create jobs and wealth for the people of Sierra Leone, the youth, the women, the disabled, a country where the rule of law is respected, where we have an effective, efficient, neutral justice system, and where we protect we protect the right of the future generation to the mineral wealth that the Almighty gave us. Salone people, atima before una today with the grace of God, for tell una say, I join politics, to can fight for the common man. But that mommy where they go sell na market, enable go bet with better money in a house. For that teacher where not they get salary, for that nurse where they not they pay, that ex-serviceman where they not suffer for this country, but they not able to live a good life. I come for help una, now that make I come into politics. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I thank and congratulate the organizers for starting a new epoch in our history. Thank you very much.
We'll now turn to the final, the sixth presidential contender at the Presidential Debate 2018 here in Sierra Leone. And that is Alhaji Chief Samuel Samsumana of the Coalition for Change.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Moderator, fellow contestants, fellow Sierra Leoneans, I say good evening. It's an opportunity to be here again once more, and I say thanks be to God Almighty to giving me this opportunity. I stand as a symbol of injustice in Sierra Leone, as a patriot who has decided that the scope of work that was given to me once upon a time by the people of this great country, bend and uphold the constitution of this great nation. Haven't done that to my best aptitude. I have decided that no matter what are the consequences, I am ready to fight for the liberation of the nation. Not only the political emancipation of this, but also the economic emancipation. I stand today remembering a young man back there, young man who asked me that he needs education. Stand here today recalling a 5-year-old Junior Fuller who has prostrate because of tumor of test. And I stand here today as evidence of this side who is saying what are the benefits that this country owes, what future of spring. And I say I stand as an identity for the economic emancipation, protector of
Alhaji Samuel Samsumana of the Coalition for Change. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have a well-scripted program, but tonight I have all the power. So I decided to veer off from the script for a moment and give you all what we used to call hot mental. I'll ask you a question or two, but I'll only give you 30 seconds to share your views on these. Today, sad news come on Makeni. What come they say? One woman, a man throw away fuel padam, a light fire by the woman, a born the woman. And in the way people can do against women, bad thing them, what they call violence, gender-based violence or violence against women. That thing waking up in Bokuna country. So I want to ask Una today, is for 30 seconds, if you are elected president, what concrete steps will you take to end violence against women and girls? Let me start first with Alhaji Musa Tarali of the Citizens Democratic Party. 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The victim, I support. Politics do not be war. We are aspiring to create the enabling environment for our people. I become president today. I will establish a secured and integrated infrastructure.
Alhaji Musa Tarali, thank you very much. Let's turn now to Dr. Samura Kamara of the All People's Congress. Dr. Samura Kamara, if Salone people elect you president, what are the concrete steps that we go take for end violence against women and girls? 30 seconds.
To start with, I want everybody to know that I signed up to the International He for She initiative that protects women. I will therefore continue to be an advocate, a strong advocate for that matter, to support the rights of women, to empower them in all aspects of life, economically, politically, and socially, so that they'll be able to stand on their rights. And that's my vision, that's my commitment to the women of Sierra Leone.
I turn now to retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio of the Sierra Leone People's Party. What you go do for end violence against women and girls?
I will therefore accept, say, the women constitute 51% of this population, and they should be equal partners in the process of development. And therefore, we should not abuse them. Domestic abuse of women is very rampant, and therefore we must take stringent actions to make sure that that is stopped, and also to make sure that we empower them to be part of the governance system, the all-inclusive system I have been talking about.
Thank you very much. Let's turn now to Mr. Mohamed Kamarin Ba Mansare of the Alliance Democratic Party.
Hassan, we were in at this stage right now. I mean, are the only presidential candidate we choose a woman as a running mate. Not to talk. How can I afford do now action? You see, change now action oriented. When you want empower women, you need for sure action, not to just talk. I get me running mate as a woman, and he will be the next vice president of Sierra Leone.
Mr. Mohamed Kamarin Ba Mansare. Now turn now to Dr. Kande Kole Yunkela of the National Grand Coalition.
First of all, one sympathize with my sister, where they do this heinous act too. But yes, number one, we go get for help for let the man then understand the value of women, and for let we change some of them with traditions where they subjugate women. But number two, get for enforce some of with tough laws. For that kind of action there, I go make sure say the law take in full course, so other people they know say you do an extent, you save trouble go meet you.
Alhaji Chief Samuel Samsumana of the Coalition for Change.
Thank you very much. The heart go out to the woman and the family for it. And I don't start very strong as an advocate against female violence. When I'm in there as vice president, I make sure, say, under the prerogative of us, any issue related with female violence, whether it's sexual or on the other, I not take mercy. For this time, I'll make sure I continue to uphold the Constitution, the laws that will protect.
Thank you very much. Alhaji Chief Samuel Samsumana of the Coalition for Change. I'll go now to you, Dr. Samura Kamara of the All People's Congress. Now, in Sierra Leone today, sports has a huge potential for our youth. But sports and football in particular are dead. How will you revive sport?
I must apologize for that, about what's happening to sports in this country. I do believe there's significant room for improvement. I know sports, apart from involving the youth, sports is also an instrument of ensuring that there is peace and unity in every state. Therefore, I will do everything possible to encourage, to bring back sports, clean sport, to schools, starting at the primary level, up to the secondary, and then the tertiary level. I will try to do that because I'm a sportsman myself, and I know the value of encouraging sports among our youth.
Thank you very much. Dr. Samura Kamara of the All People's Congress. Retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio of the Sierra Leone People's Party.
Sorry, the timer is not on. I can't cage myself.
Technical crew, can you sort out the timer, please? Just a minute, sir.
It's on.
Every contender in this particular round has 30 seconds. So we'll turn now to retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. The timer is working.
Okay, the only time we don't go African Nations Cup, at the time we've been doing government. We qualify for the Nations Cup and we win the Zone 2 twice. So you can rest assured that we go revive and resuscitate all forms of sport for make sure say we put Salone again on the map of the sporting world. For expose, we picking them and give them scholarship and create a special fund. We go make go to the international theater, then we start sporting they take place.
Thank you. We go turn now to Mr. Mohammed Kamarimba Mansari of the Alliance Democratic Party.
The youth are tired. They're sick and tired of giving them handout. That's all they do. Obodio. They're sick and tired. Like I said, let's stop the rhetoric. Let's try to create skills, jobs. And as president, come March 7, 2018, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to empower the youth of this country and to make them live a meaningful life in Sierra Leone.
We go turn now to Dr. Kande Kole-Yumkela of the National Grand Coalition.
All man knows me a sportsman. So I will assure the youth then say, if I become president, we will reintroduce intercollegiate sports from school level go up. We go support the athletes. We go also make sure say we get regular training and indeed where possible to bring even international trainers to raise the level of we sport. But more importantly, we not go do what the APC they do. We not go put politics inside football. They left the footballer for let them do it and they do best and support the clubs.
Alhaji Chief Samuel Samsumana.
First of all, expunging the issue of the president being head of the sports council, we have to make sure so removed. And we, under the Coalition for Change, believe we have to start within the schools then, and at the same time, encourage what we've been getting before, not to Arsenal, Manchester over the top. Not to talk about Mighty Blackpool, Eastern Lions, Diamond Stars, etc., and revive sports in this country.
Thank you very much. Let's turn now to you. Alhaji Musa Charlie of the Citizens Democratic Party. I beg your pardon, sir. What you go do about sports and football?
I will respect the independence of FIFA and its related institutions. I will promote sports as pride or one of the activities that can promote the country and establish training of games and sporting activities across the country.
You still get 7 seconds. You want to use that?
I believe the independence of the institution.
Okay. We don't use that term, but thank you very much. I go turn now to retired Brigadier Julius Mada Bio. Corruption. 2 things what you go do for end corruption.
For stop corruption in this country, I go inject a huge dosage of discipline in the way we govern this country. We have the ACC, which is one instrument, and we also get all the laws then way for support. What is lacking the political will. We still get people way above the law. So that aspect, definitely bringing in the discipline, which forms a part of my background, we'll be able to add that to the institution and the laws then for make sure that we combat corruption in this country.
Mohammed Kamarimba Mansari.
Corruption and the cancer in Sierra Leone and the Ebola in Sierra Leone. You know, one thing, right now, get about 6 people here who want to be president, or make you show action, say you're not corrupt, or declare your assets. And none of these folks declare their assets to show they're not corrupt. They show they have the legality, how they get the money. You know, for start. So with my administration, I will end corruption in this country. And I'll
go now to Dr. Kande Kole-Yumkela.
We for strengthen the anti-corruption institutions. We for make sure say senior officials, president, minister, heads of agencies, permanent secretaries regularly, annually declare their assets. Number 3, we for make let the people they know when we give contracts to people for do activities for them, how much we give them and what can be supposed for do. So the citizens themselves go they watch who side the money they go and who that them and give that money they what to do with that.
Alhaji Chief Samuel Samsumana, you talk.
First of all, we can look at what in government they do. Government they encourage corruption. Because if they pay somebody less than $1 a day, a recipe for corruption. We will look into that, address that issue. Also, we have to give independence to the anti-corruption. At the same time, we have to make sure the judiciary and the police work in their own way so that nobody will interfere in the discipline order to take off and not all.
Now let's turn to Alhaji Musa Charali of the Citizens Democratic Party. See what you go do for end corruption in this country.
I will stop political interference, support sensitization, provide better conditions of service, and strengthen investigation.
And finally, we'll go to Dr. Samura Kamara. Mic a problem? I think the one in front of you seems to work. Oh. Hello? Okay. Once we sort out the mic, we want to play one short documentary. This is something we got when our teams went around the country ahead of the debate. And this documentary is supposed to show a snapshot of what life is like in Sierra Leone today. But I think we'll hold it there and just check. Yes. Well, I'm afraid we'll have to hold on to the documentary for now, with our apologies to the candidate of the All People's Congress, Dr. Samura Kamara. If you will kindly take your 30 seconds.
Thank you, Hassan. The fight against corruption will be my greatest commitment, the greatest commitment of our administration, knowing exactly the negative effects of corruption in our society. We already have an institutional legal framework which we're going to strengthen and make it stronger in the fight against corruption. But certainly also will engage and strengthen civil society engagement in the fight against corruption. Thank you.
Now we turn to Mr. Mohamed Kamarinba Mansari. Infrastructure development is a big thing in our country, and importance in any country. And we get two projects there right now with a very big project there, and an important project in the country. One at the Mamama Airport, and the second one at the toll road. What thing are you view on the wire, and how you go approach them if you become president?
Thank you, Hassan. I don't make my point clear. I'm the only presidential candidate a week when they go inaugurate me as president, and they stop the toll road. Nobody know they pay 1 cent. That toll road, APC toll road, and we they cut them off. The second infrastructure department we they talk on Mama Airport, now Flux, Lunge Airport, we not even use them the way we want to. So
thank you very much. We go now to Dr. Kande Kole-Yunkela. I think we have a problem with the microphone. Okay.
I think it.
If we can just start the time again, please. 30 seconds. Can you roll it back? Thank you.
The method where they use for do the toll road wrong. We not get a tolling policy in the country. It wrong for let people then begin pay for toll road where the road not done yet. And also the road completely overpriced. Me believe say that price then at 3 times what it for be. The Mamama will get for consider them very carefully because the country get too much debt. And for add more debt will cause burden for the people there. And that's not do longer right now.
Alhaji Chief Samuel Samsumana.
Mamama, yes, but indeed we'll get priorities. We'll not get running water all over the country. Get Lungo Airport. Why we'll get for force about Mamama at this time? But we'll get some. Looking at the toll road, I know say nobody know pay us rent, and also we not complete yet. So we believe say if that road been there without no hindrance, why a toll road will cost like $336 million at the end of the 27 years.
Now we turn now to Alhaji Musa Charali. Toll road and Mamama Airport. 30 seconds.
I would prefer for expand Lunge International Airport and make a commercial city in Lunge. Build a port there than the Mamama Airport. on the toll road, na alternative road for me toll. Become president, I will renegotiate it. So they pay the people them for complete time, we pay them and they complete it.
We go now to Dr. Samura Kamara.
Thank you. I think the problem we get from my colleagues is to play politics with and a development that will transform this country. Both the toll road and the Mama Airport are two major projects that will create opportunities for economic empowerment, that will create serious jobs for our people and move the country further forward so that Sierra Leone will better stand the test of times.
Retired Brigadier Julius Madabio.
Thank you. The toll road is shrouded in secrecy, the agreements and everything, and therefore we need to do a review and also do what we call value engineering for determine whether we get value for waiting we put into that. We also need to do a complete and holistic evaluation of all other infrastructure projects going on, because as far as I'm concerned, most of them are sham, including the Mamama.
Thank you very much. And now we go turn to Alaji Kande Kole Yunkela. And I want to ask you, very interesting, this thing that they call Tusim and the diaspora, it don't become big issue. What you go do about this and about the Sierra Leone and the all winner people what they call diaspora now?
We don't put on our manifesto. All diasporans, we will immediately move legislation to give them voting rights where they are. Second, we will also work with the judiciary and the parliament to make sure we repeal those areas of our constitution that are discriminatory to diasporans or dual nationals. But I do believe that a president cannot be a dual national.
Alhaji If Samuel Samsumana.
The issue of dual citizenship, clearly, one, we know so to get a lot of support from we brothers and sisters ask, why spite them? When we need them, then support, then therefore we. And the issue of dual citizenship, yes, the Constitution presently requires it about but we will look it around and make sure so we address wherein the president no get dual citizenship or therefore be patriot.
Alhaji Musa Tarawale, you turn.
I believe in the rule of law. We will engage as a nation to create the enabling atmosphere for make with people in the diaspora participate. I will also ensure that we get mobile facility where they will left overseas and they process their passports and ID cards without coming here. If we bring the people closer and include them in the development process.
Dr. Samura Kamara.
Thank you. I think personally, in my years in managing the affairs of this country, I don't see the advantage of having the diaspora family-footed, providing resources and contribute to economic development. Fortunately, there is a constitutional provision which is diverse, also different from Madual Act. What I will do is try to create an enabling environment whereby the diaspora will continue to develop. Certainly, we look at the constitutional provision and provide a more enabling environment.
Retired Brigadier Julius Madabio.
Well, actually, me, I not get double SIM. I always don't be a Sierra Leonean. Although some people don't offload one SIM, but we believe, anybody where they out of this country, when not part of this country, don't they contribute, we for encourage them. We not for use the law as it has been used for discourage them or exclude them from the political processes because they are part of the economy of this country and they contribute immensely. So it is a law that we have to review.
Mr. Mohammed Kamarin Bamansari.
I love this country. I worship this country after God. And I assure you one thing. Nobody not forget 2 SIM or 3 SIM wait for be president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. So whoever get 2 SIM, make it just resign and go wait. The second thing I will tell you, as the diaspora, and they give them voting right as president. And the first 90 days, we're going to enact them, Lord, indeed.
Alhaji Chief Daniel Sam Sumana. Now I'm going to read this here small by English.
Again?
Existing investment. Oh no, you don't talk about diaspora. Yes. Existing investment agreements between government and companies contain duty waivers, exemptions, and tax holiday provisions for companies. This has resulted in severely reduced financial benefits for the state from the exploitation of our natural resources. What would you do differently with respect to large-scale investment in natural resources if you win power?
First of all, we as a nation endowed natural resources. But for far too long, we don't eat the crumb. Don't eat the remnants. This time around, therefore make sure, under this coalition for change, that the beneficiation also stays in Sierra Leone. No more for we go to the 3%, but more to it. And also, we will enforce, then come there, or do added value to them product, and so that we create jobs for youth in this country.
So we'll turn now to Dr. Samura Kamara of the All People's Congress.
I think two things. The first one is, what do you do to attract quality investment? And secondly, how do you ensure that this investment is to the benefit of the country? Certainly, there have been in our tax regime, possible that we have an onerous tax regime. But secondly, and more importantly, we ourselves as a nation must be quite prepared to discuss with investors so that we have a profitable investment environment.
Thank you very much. Now we turn now to retired Brigadier General Adabio.
Well, definitely we don't benefit from the vast natural resources we'll get, because we not only make proper arrangement for we own share as a country, and for make sure say the communities that we suddenly pull then minerals there, then self also get. So we get for make sure say we put farm laws in place. We go make sure say the communities in this country at large get waiting they forget from every activity we involve minerals.
Mr. Mohamed Kamarimba Mansur.
You know, it hurts me when we talk about taxes. All the mining companies then combined, the revenue, the tax that they pay to government, all of them is less than waiting Airtel, Orange, they pay. It's sickening, unacceptable. As president, we not go get a Sierra Leone for the selected few, but now for every Sierra Leone made them benefit from we resources.
Now we go now to you, Dr. Akande Kole Yunkela.
A report come out which shows say in 2011 and 2012, this economy lost 240 million just in duty waivers and also all kinds of incentives. This was more than what we spent on both education and healthcare. When I come in, we'll review those tax holidays. Second, we will make sure the areas where these resources are, they benefit more than the 0.1% that is given to them.
Okay, we'll go to the next round now. And I think before we go to this, we'll go just that quick one, Alhaji Musa Tali. Sorry.
This happened because we not get scientific records on the value of natural resources. I go do geospatial survey, get scientific records, we go strengthen we as a government for negotiate from a position of strength. Secondly, I go audit the stock, the operations and sales of the existing mining companies, or make we identify defaulters and get back waiting we don't lose as a nation.
Thank you very much. I don't get all mine. I mean, don't get yourself, sir. Yes. Let's just check, sir, I don't miss you. Okay. So we go to the next round, and before that, we'll play one short clip where they show a snapshot of life in Sierra Leone today.
get water problem. We have too much from January to February, March now. No get water again. Pass some, then go na the swamp, then go dig. Well, that digging the back na clay na they come up. Pass way you drink yourself, so they pass them put them close before you drink.
For maybe get this, they want to go to any hospital. Then they treat me, then they ask me for anything. Then they ask me for anything, and then they give me the kind medicine where the complaint I go with, then they give me the exact medicine, then they give me the treatment according to the complaint. And I really tell God thank you for the nurses there. Anytime you go, you meet nurses, they're accurate and active on duty.
When I see the losses, I go pass the profit because sometimes I can see like I can don't get like 50,000 profit, but side machine and bug machine pull, then decide we not get lights here, and I feel at the buy, and the cost of the fuel 1 liter is 7,000 euros, and maybe sometimes I know they get fund up to even reach 15 or even 20. You see, so now we can say well the losses will pass the profit.
Third block na made because we not get permanent school building, so we need school building because when the season they come and the community then take and make a fit for sale for make them go able to give a building. So I make over to say the only way we go able for help them, that's to go take them block them clear and go there for them.
There are lots of changes. Some are positive changes, some are negative. The positive changes, there are some learning, there are some improvements in learning, really. But the negative changes, the teaching, the supplies of teaching and learning materials has dropped. Because since I started teaching, in the school that I was teaching, children will have at least 3 to a reader, but now we are supplied at 1 reader to a class, and we the teachers take the constraints to write on the blackboard.
You don't want to get sleepy. I can feedback from the beginning because you don't match on now. 10 on I mean they do for them. They're supposed to do for me now, but 10 on I mean they do for them because of passing.
I know say when somebody idle, must involve inside violence or thief, armed robbery, and for that we decide say, look, can in a bush, you they manage the life now. You see, but they find them very difficult really. Even you survival for the day, forget that it's not easy.
As a bike rider, my brother, I know the life for the road, a fine, a nice, a smooth, you know, get gallop, and enjoy.
But from all the thing happen, I begin drink and smoke. Man, I rag nobody. I begin smoke, I begin drink, come like bang bang. Because I know where you encourage me.
No easy, because like me now, me bobo, Ali Jalo. They help me greatly. They help me. And they ride bike.
plead to them for say, they are let them make good dam na 91 Peace Village. We suffer. And if you look Kile, better we the polio them. If you can't look at polio, they suffer. Forget what's on 91. It's painful.
One, I want that shift system to be completely abolished. Then secondly, that we should have enough teaching and learning materials. You see these children, when they have the materials, when they see things, they remember. But we only teach in abstracts.
I appeal to whosoever get for can as a president after the election. I appeal to her for make them will continue for improve on the free health care more and more, so that the system not will die down, neither it will fade away. It will continue for their on and on. And
try for keep money for develop, but my share more. So pass until that money with farmer. So me, if you like say, I will extend this business. This not going to be bad. I will extend this business, and this business, if like they are, I will turn it as concrete. I will put it even still do much. By God the power. So I like to want this community. They
appeal to any government where they can empower for making food support for the road needed. Because the road, if you get the road and at the country, find the road and at the country, I hope so we not get traffic.
Me dream here for be, after I do achieve my education, for be member of parliament, for be I get it right for be mayor, I get it right for be liable work na education field, for liable get me anto month, liable do for me family.
As for me, I go want to go able to be the biggest doctor inside salon.
A snapshot of life in Sierra Leone today, and it illustrates the most important resource that our country has and the challenges they face. And that resource is, of course, the people. Therefore, tonight, we will start looking at your plans for human development. Here, we would like to examine how you plan to tackle issues such as health and education, housing and water. You have 2.5 minutes, and we'll start on health and education. Alhaji Musa Tarali.
The health sector, key to the development of every nation. We have to support our health sector development locally. And to achieve this, I will change the road funds to health funds, so that every cent derived from the pumping price will support the health sector. I will also bring the EPA under health and sanitation too. Sanitation is a big enterprise. The EPA is making millions of dollars. We have to ensure that the health sector, supported locally, move away from the donor-driven approach as beggars to sustainable development. I will also make sure that we encourage investment in the health sector for produce medicines locally, and also for establish an internationally certified training facility for nurses, doctors, and engineers. The world demands a lot of health practitioners. We have the human resource to capacitate. It's a whole investment on its own and a big enterprise. My government will encourage investors to train nurses, doctors, engineers, and open for them the windows to have international jobs. With the monies where we go get for support the health sector, we go also improve on the working conditions, the wages, salary, and accommodation. The nurses, doctors don't prove to be heroes in this country. So therefore, much attention is needed. I think if we support the health sector locally, every other support we will get from bilateral relationships can be additional.
So Alhaji Musa Sali, I noticed I asked about health and education, but you're not talking anything about education. That's not important. The time don't go, but is that not too important?
No, the education is very important. And what I will do to promote education is to encourage faith-based educational system, wherein religious organizations will invest in the educational system.
All right. So for you, you can make religious organization and take over the education system.
As in the West, Harvard University, that the Catholic is the owner. In UK, you have a lot of institutions where now
thank you very much, sir. Since you don't exhaust the time, we'll go turn now to Dr. Samura Kamara of the All People's Congress. Health and education, your vision.
Hassan, these are testimonies that we actually encountered during our campaign tour with my running mates and our colleagues who accompanied us. In many parts of the country, especially in the Sabo Islands, we see the difficulties of water, the difficulties of even communication networks, the difficulties of children deprived of educational institutions. We saw how really even transport facilities were very, very bad in those places. I will tell you, there and then, we started providing support for these people. I feel sorry for them because these are part of the deprived communities, marginalized communities. And I promise them that in our administration, we'll make sure that we bring these people at the center stage. Hence, we have our manifesto for the grassroots. On education, I was reminded by Mr. Abdullahi Fofana of Yagoi village, who informed us that he had a 3-room school where in the morning he will have a primary school and in the afternoon transform it into a secondary school. That is unforgivable, and I think it rings the bell that we must go back to the drawing board and try to improve the livelihoods of these people. Water. In my village, where my father comes from,
we're not carried to water.
In education, I do believe that the youths are longing for quality education, for good careers, and certainly a quality education that will give them guaranteed jobs, not only for Sierra Leone, or the international community at large. And I can see students yearning for the opportunities to have really clean education where we need to look at the integrity of the system, because presently we have a lot of malpractices in the system, examination fraud, etc. We look at the affordability of schools, and we also look at pre-primary and even primary school, and then we move forward.
Dr. Samura Kamara, you mentioned that when you saw the state or somebody's life during your campaign, you felt it was unforgivable. Who or what will you blame for that?
Well, I blame governments, because governments have a social responsibility to provide for the people. I do that. And that's why going forward, I have to be honest enough to say this will be a topmost priority. And that's why we are factored in our agenda, in our manifesto. We call it the Grassroots Manifesto, which is looking at this human development aspect.
Thank you very much. Let's turn now to retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. Your vision for improving health and education in Sierra Leone.
I will start with education. Education, good for personal development and also national development. The human capital, we the people in this country, are the most important resource we'll get. Sometimes we ask the Sierra Leonean, they begin count diamond, gold. They don't even sabi waiting a gold, what's in a diamond. But me believes that the human beings, then we, the people, constitute the most important asset to this country. But for me to be useful to our country and contribute meaningfully, we need to get education, quality education, give skills and the knowledge we go make we free for move around the world, become competitive and also become productive in this modern world. Therefore, the flagship program of the new manifesto, the People's Manifesto, now free education for all kids from primary school to secondary school. A lot of people, they drop out of school because they don't get money for pay the little that they need for pay. Me, don't say I go pay, as a government, we go pay for all kids in primary school, public primary school and secondary school. Sometimes they say it's very expensive, but I always tell people, they say, for spend by the human being, for me, not expensive. If you want, try ignorance. Ignorance is more expensive than education. Health, you cannot develop without a healthy population. And therefore, we therefore make sure, say, the limited investment we would put into the health sector, we actually develop not only the physical infrastructure, but also the human resource capacity for able to do what we call disease prevention, disease control, and also disease surveillance. We therefore make sure, say, we get the right people for able to do all of the internet in the health sector so that we could get a healthy population for undertake the development aspirations of our country.
Can you flesh out a little bit on what you mean by free education? Does that mean people will not pay fees and anything else?
The free education where they talk about includes they cover pupils from class 1 till and down secondary school. Of course, we did take the SS4 because now a waste of time where the APC bring. This particular program, they cover school fees, books and uniform and other educational materials. Then that means they don't get for pay for all of them things. And
how much will that cost? How much will that cost?
Say again.
How much will that cost the state?
I'm not getting you.
Okay, my apologies. How much will it cost to provide this free education?
According to the census, school census of 2015, we get 2 million kids we will get for work for. Using a unit price of 380,000 leons, that go amount to 115 billion. And we go able to get that money easily by making sure that excessive tax waivers and tax exemptions are reduced by 50%.
Thank you very much. Mohammed Kamarin Bamansari, health and education.
Health. You know, our country, our health system is now what the Sierra Leonean deserve. Who people they don't deserve waiting it again now, wait and sick. I've been there 10 days there. I've been Tegbema, one village there they go, na Bundubu. I meet Okada, one woman sick. A man Olam, the Okada, the Olam for Karangona hospital. I get for stop. I say, hey, what's happened with this woman? They said the woman they died. Ambulance no day. Nothing no day for take this woman na hospital. He hurt me. This of 57 years who get independent. Up to now, we they play cook with the people of this country their life. Enough. My administration, I don't talk say we will not even get hospitals in this country. Now a cake clinic they will get. Now make way government officers and sick, they go abroad, then go take care of themselves. They send them picking them, they wife them and go born abroad. Oh yeah, we health system complete mess. I go change them in 3 weeks when I be president. The second thing, by God in power, I go change most of them policies and education. I be on the talk say, People then they talk, just for talk's sake. Again, my colleagues then I they raise my hand. I know when they work for government, we get former ministers there, former vice president, and former head of state. But me, we know one day work for government, one day church, this country money, and they build schools out of me own fund for sure say, picking them education important. So if I build school with me own resources, imagine when I control the country resources, what I go do. You know, education system in this country, and a complete mess. I mean, a total mess, and unacceptable. And we they go back to the drawing board, and like Bisa don't promise, we they can make sure say no child left behind, and every Pekin they get quality education, and they no go share one answer sheet, 5 Pekin and no go share and again as alone.
So you say you will change the health service, the health sector in this country as soon as you become president, if the people elect you president. How will you change it and how
Absolutely. One, when we go start, we they give plenty money. In fact, the ambulances we will get before even Ebola in this country, then less than the motorcade of the president, then less than the motorcade of the vice president in this country. So what will they do? They can cut 70% of the country, about 70% of a country income. It they go towards paying salaries, benefits, and all those lucrative things then for government, top government officers. Will they cut that money down? And when will they cut them? Will they go try for set things in place?
Okay. And you also say you've been building schools. How many have you built?
Say that again.
You claim here that you have been building schools.
Yes.
How many?
The second school now they finish. With Lankono, when you go put local district, and there's a town called Mamusa, we get 15 villages. No school, no did it. When I go and meet young people, them they play, my body be they rise. Now I tell them say when I give me,
all right,
I build the school, and then none.
So how many schools?
But me don't build my second school now.
How many schools have you built?
I said I'm in second school this.
Thank you very much. Let's go now to Alhaji Kande Yumkela.
The conditions where you show in that video, now that's where they see where they go campaign. And we believe saying one of the worst legacies of the APC regime. For see people then they suffer that kind of way, the toilets they're not in at school, clean water not they, people they not they get proper health care in spite of the promises. For education, we don't talk, we declare immediately an education emergency. Under that emergency, we reform the Ministry of Education, split into 2 directorates, one for basic education, one for tertiary education. Number 2, we go build more schools. 42% of we population, they below 18. So you obviously the demand therefore increase. We need more schools for let we able to stop the 2-shift system. Number 2, then 30,000 teachers. We not get PIN code. We get for regularize them. We get for train with teachers better. Give them better incentives. Number 3, we get for work with the private sector. Private sector schools and they work well in this country. Why government you know for work? Number 4, we go introduce a water and sanitation program for all schools. The final one, we consider seriously compulsory free primary education. We limit them to that level because we know say already education they take about 20% of our expenditures. Healthcare. The health story is sorry. More women and they die now than they go born picking than any side. So healthcare, major reform as well. Number 1, we get for train more nurses and doctors. Primary healthcare important. We get for establish more what we call primary healthcare units. Now then village. Number 3, we need for train more doctors. So I go work very well with the College of Medicine for see how we go expand them programs for train more doctors and nurses for this country. Of course, the physical infrastructure matter. We for upgrade the district level hospitals that we get. More expansion, electricity and clean water for day and day unit and day. For example, we need for get electricity for store blood. We need electricity for get better sanitation and clean water. So you get for do that linkage between a good hospital and the availability of electricity and clean water.
Dr. Samura Kamara, Kande Yumkela's vision for health and education seems very grand. Do you believe him?
Well, I don't know whether he knows the true cost of saying, but I want just to inform him that what is happening is fault of successive government, not only an APC phenomenon, but again, I think that again, my colleague quoted some figures. Yeah, he quoted some figures about the cost of primary education or education at large. I tell you, currently we meet 10% of the budget on education. That is over 5 trillion leons. And over 50% of that is primary education. Whenever you want to make free primary education, not to talk of high school education, you must look at the envelope, resource envelope, because you get competing development issues, you have health, water, etc.
Let me just hold you there, Dr. Kande Yumkela.
But I do believe we have a competent and a willing private sector that will help us move these two sectors forward. But I will tell you over and above that, I as president, I am moved by the spirit of these people and the resilience that they have to withstand these current challenges until there is time for us to improve.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samura Kamara. Alhaji Musa Charali, is there anything you've picked from what Dr. Samura Kamara has just said?
You see, Mr. Moderator, the major problem in this country is the political will. Housing and water are big enterprises. Government for take off the burden from in. The people don't tire with theories. The people want to see tangible development. The dam we have today was made for 300,000 people. The city gave past 1 million people. I took the Deputy Minister of Water Resources to Morocco. He saw the dam there. Now they move away from the donor-driven approach as beggars to sustainable development. I will also make sure that we encourage investment in the health sector for produce medicines locally and also for establish an internationally certified training facility for nurses, doctors, and engineers. The world demands a lot of health practitioners. We have the human resource to capacitate. It's a whole investment on its own and a big enterprise. My government will encourage investors to train nurses, doctors, engineers, and open for them the windows to have international jobs. With the monies where we will get for support the health sector, we will also improve on the working conditions, the wages, salary, and accommodation. The nurses, doctors don't prove to be heroes in this country. So therefore, much attention is needed. I think if we support the health sector locally, every other support we will get from bilateral relationships can be additional.
So Alhaji Musa Charali, I noticed I asked about health and education, but you're not talking anything about education. That's not important. The time don't go, but that's not too important.
No, the education is very important. And what I will do to promote education is to encourage faith-based educational system, wherein religious organizations will invest in the educational system.
All right. So for you, you can make religious organization and take over the education system.
As in the West, Harvard University, that the Catholics the owner. In UK, you have a lot of institutions when
thank you very much, sir. Since you don't exhaust your time, we'll go turn now to Dr. Samura Kamara of the All People's Congress. Health and education, your vision.
Hassan, testimonies at video. These were testimonies that my running mate and I, plus our actually encountered several parts of the
We seem to have a problem with your microphone there, and I would just like to pause the proceedings. With our apologies again, and we'll start your time again, I think. Can we start 2:30 after we've tested the mic, please? Technical team?
Hello.
Okay, you can start now, sir.
As I was saying, Hassan, these are testimonies that we actually encountered during our campaign tour with my running mates and our colleagues who accompanied us. In many parts of the country, especially in the Sado Islands, we see the difficulties of water, the difficulties of even communication networks, the difficulties of children deprived of educational institutions. We saw how really even transport facilities were very, very bad in those places. I will tell you, there and then, we started providing support for these people. I feel sorry for them because these are part of the deprived communities, marginalized communities. And I promise them that in our administration, we'll make sure that we bring these people at the center stage. Hence, we have our manifesto for the grassroots. On education, I was reminded by Mr. Abdullah Fofana of Yagoy village, who informed us that he had a 3-room school, where in the morning he will have a primary school, and in the afternoon transform it into a secondary school. That is unforgivable, and I think it rings the bell that we must go back to the drawing board and try to improve the livelihoods of these people. Water. In my village, where my father comes from,
we're not carried to water.
In education, I do believe that the youths are longing for quality education, for good careers, and certainly a quality education that will give them guaranteed jobs, not only for Sierra Leone, or the international community at large. And I can see students yearning for the opportunities to have really clean education where we need to look at the integrity of the system, because presently we have a lot of malpractices in the system, examination fraud, etc. We look at the affordability of schools, and we also look at pre-primary and even primary school, and then we move forward.
Dr. Samuel Kamara, you mentioned that when you saw the state or somebody's life during your campaign, you felt it was unforgivable. Who or what will you blame for that?
Well, I blame governments, because governments have a social responsibility to provide for the people. I do that. And that's why going forward, I have to be honest enough to say this will be a topmost priority. And that's why we are factored in our agenda, in our manifesto. We call it the Grassroots Manifesto, which is looking at this human development aspect.
Thank you very much. Let's turn now to retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio. Your vision for improving health and education in Sierra Leone.
I will start with education. Education, good for personal development and also national development. The human capital, we the people in this country, are the most important resource we'll get. Sometimes when you ask a Sierra Leonean, they begin count diamond, gold. They don't even sabi waiting a gold, waiting a diamond. But we believe, say, the human beings, then we, the people, constitute the most important asset to this country. But for make we be useful to the country and contribute meaningfully, we need to get education, quality education, give kids and the knowledge we go make we free for move around the world, become competitive, and also become productive in this modern world. Therefore, the flagship program of the new manifesto, the People's Manifesto, now free education for all kids from primary school to secondary school. A lot of people, they drop out of school because they don't get money for pay the little that they need for pay. Me, don't say I go pay, as a government, we go pay for all kids in primary school, public primary school and secondary school. The sometimes they say it's very expensive, but I always tell people, they say, for spend on the human being, for me, not expensive. If you want, try ignorance. Ignorance is more expensive than education. Health, you cannot develop without a healthy population. And therefore, we therefore make sure, say, the limited investment we would put into the health sector, we actually develop not only the physical infrastructure, but also the human resource capacity for able to do what we call disease prevention, disease control, and also disease surveillance. We therefore make sure, say, we get the right people for able to do all of the things in the health sector, so that we could get a healthy population for undertake the development aspirations of our country.
Can you flesh out a little bit on what you mean by free education? Does that mean people will not pay fees and anything else?
The free education where they talk about includes they cover pupils from class 1 till and down secondary school. Of course, we take the SS4 because now a waste of time where the APC bring. This particular program, they cover school fees, books and uniform and other educational materials. Then that means they don't get for pay for all of them things. And
how much will that cost? How much will that cost?
Say again.
How much will that cost the state?
I'm not getting you.
Okay, my apologies. How much will it cost to provide this free education?
According to the census, school census of 2015, we get 2 million kids we will get for work for. Using a unit price of 380,000 leons, that go amount to 115 billion, and we go able to get that money easily by making sure that excessive tax waivers and tax exemptions are reduced by 50%.
Thank you very much. Mohammed Kamarin Bamansari, Health and Education.
Health. You know, our country, our health system is now what the Sierra Leoneans deserve. We people them and don't deserve waiting it again now, wait and sick. I've been there 10 days there. I've been Tegbema, one village that they were go, na Bundubu. I meet Okada, one woman sick. A man Olam, the Okada, the Olam for Kerangona Hospital. I get for stop. I say, hey, wait here for this woman. They said the woman they die. Ambulance no day. Nothing no day for take this woman na hospital. He hurt me. This for 57 years, go get independent. Up to now, we they play cook with the people of this country their life. Enough. My administration, I don't talk so will not even get hospitals in this country. Now, a cake clinic they will get. And make way government officers and sick, they go abroad. Then go take care of themselves. They send them picking them, they wife them and go born abroad. Oh yeah, we health system a complete mess. I go change them in 3 weeks when I be president. The second thing, by God in power, I go change most of them policies and they. Education. I be on the talk say, people and they talk. Just for talk's sake. Again, my colleagues then they raise my hand. I know when they work for government, we get former ministers there, former vice president, and former head of state. But me, we know one day work for government, one day church, this country money. I they build schools out of me own fund for sure say, the kingdom education important. So if I build school with me own resources, imagine when I control the country resources, what I go do. You know, education system in this country in a complete mess. I mean, a total mess and unacceptable. And we they go back to the drawing board and like Mr. don't promise, we they can make sure say no child left behind and every Pekin, they get quality education and they no go share one answer sheet, 5 Pekin and no go share and again as alone.
So you say you will change the health service, the health sector in this country as soon as you become president, if the people elect you president. How will you change it and how soon?
Absolutely. One, when we go start, we dey give plenty money. In fact, the ambulances we will get before even Ebola in this country, then less than the motorcade of the president, then less than the motorcade of the vice president in this country. So what will they do? They can cut 70% of the country, about 70% of the country income. It'll go towards paying salaries, benefits, and all those lucrative things then for government, top government officers. Will they cut that money down? And when will they cut them? Will they go try for set things in place?
Okay. And you also say you've been building schools. How many have you built?
Say that again.
You claim here that you have been building schools.
Yes.
How many?
The second school now they finish, with Lankono, when you go Putloko district, and there's a town called Mamusa. We get 15 villages. No school, no did. When I go and meet young people, them they play, my body be they rise. Now I tell them, say, when I give me, I build a school, and then none.
So how many schools?
But me don't build my second school now.
How many schools have you built?
I said I'm my second school this.
Thank you very much. Let's go now to Alhaji Kande Yumkela.
The conditions where you show na that video, na that we they see, they go campaign, and we believe say now one of the worst legacies of the APC regime. For see people then they suffer that kind of way, the toilets they're not in a school, clean water not they, people they not they get proper health care in spite of the promises. For education, we don't talk, we declare immediately an education emergency. Under that emergency, we they reform the Ministry of Education, split her into 2 directorates, one for basic education, one for tertiary education. Number 2, we go build more schools. 42% of we population, they below 18. So you obviously the demand get for increase. We need more schools for let we able to stop the 2-shift system. Number 2, then 30,000 teachers, we not get PIN code. We get for regularize them. We get for train with teachers better, give them better incentives. Number 3, we get for work with the private sector. Private sector schools and they work well in this country. Why government you know for work? Number 4, we go introduce a water and sanitation program for all schools. The final one, we consider seriously compulsory free primary education. We limit them to that level because we know say already education they take about 20% of our expenditures. Healthcare. The health story is sorry. More women than they die in a than they go born picking than any side. So healthcare, major reform as well. Number 1, we get for train more nurses and doctors. Primary healthcare important. We get for establish more what we call primary healthcare units. Now then village. Number 3, we need for train more doctors. So I go work very well with the College of Medicine for see how we go expand them programs for train more doctors and nurses for this country. Of course, the physical infrastructure matter. We for upgrade the district level hospitals the way we get. More expansion, electricity and clean water for day and day unit and day. For example, we need for get electricity for store blood. We need electricity for get better sanitation and clean water. So you get for do that linkage between a good hospital and the availability of electricity and clean water.
Dr. Samura Kamara, Kande Yumkela's vision for health and education seemed very grand. Do you believe him?
Well, I don't know whether he knows the true cost of saying. But I want just to inform him that what is happening is fault of successive government, not only an APC phenomenon. But again, I think that again, my colleague quoted some figures. Yeah, he quoted some figures about the cost of primary education or education at large. I tell you, currently we meet 10% of the budget on education. That is over 5 trillion leones. And over 50% of that is primary education. Whenever you want to make free primary education, not to talk of high school education, you must look at the envelope, resource envelope, because you get competing development issues, you have health, water, etc.
Let me just hold you there.
In Trinidad, with the blessed way God gave them of the natural resources of petroleum, then provide free tertiary education for them picking them. We get natural resources. If we close down the leaks, all the leakages there, we'll get a capacity for provide the opportunity for children that when they graduate from universities, not only waiting for somebody to employ them, but they're able to learn and come out and employ themselves gainfully as productive citizens. This is not the foundation of what we said. It's not only for we spending now, but we are embarking on a project where we will make we youth in this country more productive. Consider a situation where a child was 5 years old before the Civil War, and then it lasted for 11 years. That gives us a young youth, uneducated, unemployed. Then the SLPP government came under Tijan Kaba, then trained them for be masons, painters. What skills can, how much? I don't know where last me Uncle changing.
I'm afraid we've given quite a lot of time, but thank you very much indeed, Chief Samuel Samsumana. And I'll turn now to the presidential contender for the All People's Congress Party. We've heard the plans that you all have on building the health and education sectors in Sierra Leone. Let's turn to housing and water. First, do you agree, and not just you, all of you here, do you all agree that housing and water are priority issues?
Yes.
Do you all agree?
I totally agree.
Moderator, you left me out again for giving me views.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But I mean, don't start with you, you remember?
Everybody you envision, they
Yes.
ask their views.
I will come to you, no worry. I go give, I go make you challenger, no worry, I beg. But now just allow Mr. Samura Kamara, Dr. Samura Kamara, let him talk to us about housing and water.
I totally agree that housing and water are critical priorities in our manifesto and certainly for moving this country forward. That's why we do realize that the shortage of affordable housing, especially for our public servants, whether it's the police or the military officers or teachers, nurses, civil servants, etc., it's a very serious development challenge. And in our administration, we'll do what it takes to bring about programs that will address affordable housing facilities. And certainly the biggest challenge is slum dwellers, where because of environmental reasons, they're really struggling. So we'll try to look at a policy where you can economically and gainfully resettle and relocate these communities to better housing facilities. We've already seen what has happened during the mudslide. The private sector has helped us with 52 very good housing units to which we are resettling those who suffered during the mudslide. And I think this is a very encouraging aspect. On water, I was saying, in the village where my dad comes from, I went there. I will tell you, I saw the mothers and fathers struggling to have clean water system. Of course, I've done what I have to do to even improve that situation. But consider if it were Samura Kamara living in that environment, it would have been a difficult thing, diseases and all the rest of it. And that's why in our manifesto, we're going to do everything to make sure that housing as a priority is ably addressed, but more so a combination between the private sector and the public sector. It has to be a private-public partnership because certainly government is encumbered with other challenges, and given the limited resources in the budget, government cannot handle it alone. But I do believe we have a competent and a willing private sector that will help us move these two sectors forward. But I will tell you over and above that, I as president, I have moved by the spirit of these people and resilience that they have to withstand these current challenges until there is time for us to improve.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samura Kamara. Alhaji Musa Taral, is there anything you've picked from what Dr. Samura Kamara has just said?
You see, Mr. Moderator, The major problem in this country is the political will. Housing and water are big enterprises. Government for take off the burden from in. The people don't tire with theories. The people want to see tangible development. The dam we have today was made for 300,000 people. The city gave us 1 million people. I took the Deputy Minister of Water Resources to Morocco. He saw the dam there, in a desert area. Give out the responsibility out to the private sector. Water is a big business and affordable cost. Then go invest in the dam, we get water in this country, take the waste and they damage people there. Invest in the dam, get the water there, we go supply the whole city.
Mohammed say, they want to sell even the civil servant houses to that. So they sell, because now the young people then they inside them building. So nobody not trust them. So what would I do? Housing crucial. I don't go na Kanike, Moab, Colbert, Crabtree. This past week, they campaign, they work a middle and place and they one location, 21,000 people, they live in a pan body. You foresee the hole, where then they get water from. This is wrong in 21st century Sierra Leone. We go rebuild some of the ancient locations and they. But yes, you need public-private partnership and good financing, mortgage systems, for let you get the private sector in for build affordable housing for people. I call on public-private partnership because yes, government get for provide some land, encourage some developers, we go develop their housing schemes and possibly some financing. Again, if we lock some the inside there, where money just they disappear, yeah, including fishing. Yeah, then another topics on there, I don't know if una they cover. So many side and day where money just they disappear now, yeah, because of deal making. Where we go use for them thing, clean water, now basic rights, access to clean water. In fact, now sustainable development goal number 6, top priority. Now they boku the disease, then they come out where they affect them picking them. We get for give people then clean water. Yes, it get for be a combination of methods. We get for harvest water. If you go to Cape Verde, then they harvest water. So we get for do some water harvesting. We get a lot rainy season time. We get for do some small dams. And also, of course, major infrastructure for able pump and pipe to locations. In addition, more boreholes. We get a lot of mountains. We can use gravity. So water harvesting is crucial. Building the infrastructure to take it to the households is going to be crucial. But even for that, you're going to need public-private partnerships to get it through. But it's a basic right.
But one of the main problems, even the Guma Valley Dam, the biggest of the dams in Sierra Leone, in terms of the cities, has is that people don't like to pay for water. And you are going to build these dams, you're going to bring these boreholes, and you'll have people who don't want to pay for them.
Yeah, we start with the rich. We start with the rich in the rich neighborhoods. We'll give them meters. I was in government when we tried that. Unfortunately, the policy was not very good. I can tell you that in my neighborhood, we would happily pay for clean water. And we should do that. Those who are wealthy should pay for clean water. We pay in Europe. We pay in America. And I have spoken to a lot of middle class, upper class people here. They just want the service. We charge those who are wealthy to pay, we subsidize the poor and make it free for most of them. But the schools need clean water in particular.
Alert from reminders.
It's very possible
Afro
that
Glamour to next events, planning an event budget.
In a few weeks' time, will be the new president of Sierra Leone. Is there anything there that you might be able to pick in the case that you became president? Or are there things there that are totally unachievable?
I think the difference between men. Hello? Hassan, I think the difference between men, is that I have a unique experience in managing these issues in a developing country. Me, I don't stay here for long, since the war until now. Some, they don't go overseas, they run away, and now they come. So they don't have the experience. They can, it's not papi, go to papi talk, go to show talk. You cannot just come and give the impression that these are simple challenges that we just address overnight. No. So that if you look even at some of the manifestos they've written, it's all promises, intention without substance. We all know that yes, water and affordable housing are a critical problem. But you don't want to simplify it the way then they make like I say, you can tomorrow you go get
but Samurai, you know for complicate and eat another me will not able to trust you.
No, I'm coming. I'm not being interfere.
You work on this. The problem is
Dr. Kande, Dr. Yumikela, I'm not being interfere or interrupt so you be the talk. I just tell you say, I Samura Kamara, I get a unique experience over and above what you get.
Okay.
Manage the economy.
We'll hold it there because Chief Sam Sumana needs to now tell us what he will do about water and housing in Sierra Leone and where he will start.
Thank you very much.
Please, can we have some quiet? And we'd like to encourage the candidates to also try as much as possible to speak in English because we have a wide audience here from various countries of the world. Not all of them speak Creole. Can we have some silence, please? Chief Sam Sumana.
Thank you very much. It's very clear that water and housing are essentials of life. Very clear that in our country today there is need for 280,000 homes for us to solve our housing crisis. Looking at the condition of our people living in shanties or makeshift homes, with lack of proper regulations in building and at the same time with poor planning of housing that has affected the status quo of fine cities or towns in the country as a whole. We will look into it and make sure that we engage each other to be able to build houses that are affordable, with use of our local material, and also at the same time put in a system, a mortgage system, that we can be able to utilize the financial institutions that can support the various schemes that we put in place at various tiers, at high-end, medium, and low-scale housing. In the area of water, it is very unfortunate that what we are faced with today in Freetown and the other parts of the country, that we still have a water reticulation system that is still pre-colonial, and that we in Freetown need to improve on that. As a government, a responsible government, we have to provide water for the people of this country, because we look at industrial water supply, domestic, and at the same time, can you imagine, there's only one fire hydrant in this country. Whenever there's a fire disaster in Freetown, there's always a colossal damage because we don't have fire hydrants around, and also with lack of water. These are very important, and we believe that under the Coalition for Change, that in order to harness water, here in Freetown alone, we have about 19 catchment areas, 3 of which are bigger than the present Guma Valley. So we have to look at it, not even to go and look at the high tech of it, but utilize what we have now as a God-given right. So I believe that in order to do this, we also need to include the private sector, both to improve on the housing problems that we have, and at the same time for water reticulation so that we can have pure drinking water and avoid waterborne diseases at the same time.
You've spoken about the water situation in Freetown, and you are a son of the Connaught district. How can you describe the state of water and housing in Connaught?
I did my best as vice president. I wrote letters to De Grimont asking the French government to support us. There are 43 De Grimont points that were existing before in this country. Today, none is functional. When we look at it, for my case in of Connaught, not only that the water point was destroyed, but also at the same time, the present mining activities with lack of proper environmental impact, it has reduced the water aquifer for the people of Edo City precisely. And you see, with all of this deep shaft mining or kimberlitic mining, it has affected the water level table in Connaught. So there is no water supply, and which I endeavored then as vice president through the Kuwaiti government, but was frustrated by this regime not to help me have water reticulation in. Yes, just for the study of $450,000, which was to be provided by the Kuwaiti government, or stalled for what I don't know. So when we look at other parts of the country, because here I stand representing Sierra Leone, not Kono alone, and we look at the areas in Pujong, look at what they were supposed to have with the effort of the Degrimon, still not available.
Okay, and I just want to pick up again on something else you said. You said in terms of housing, we will make use of local materials. What sort of local materials?
We are very blessed to have clay in this country. Very affordable. For my part of the world in Kono, from the mining areas, when you talk about hydroform, you don't have to pay for it. With the use of clay, you can be able to build decent homes. Take the example from Rwanda, the type of homes they have. We can be able to build those homes for less by use of local material. Look at the skin they are using in other parts of the world, like Philippines, in their roofing system. We can also use the bamboo that we can build. If we continue to use these skills, employ the technology that are available in other parts of the world, then we will be able to harness that opportunity and provide affordable homes for the people of this country.
Thank you very much. Let's turn now to Alhaji Musa Tarawali. You had a thing or two to say about housing. You had a thing or two to say about water when you were challenging Dr. Samura Kamara. What will you do differently to change the state of water and housing in Sierra Leone?
My brother, government is poor. Government does not have money. Promises cannot solve the problem of the people. Theories cannot solve the problem of the people. I will encourage investment. That is how Dubai was built. That is how UK was built. That is how America is built. We have to encourage investors to invest in enterprises, create jobs for our people, pay tax, and empower our people to purchase the facilities. It's a two-track approach. We encourage investors and we empower our people, invest in our people to afford the services.
You still have more than a minute and a half, if you'd like to continue.
I think I've mastered it. There is no way.
Please, can you allow him to speak?
There is no way we can play magic. We don't have money. We have to invite credible investors to participate, create jobs for our people, pay tax, and support our people to afford the services. They deserve quality health service. They deserve clean pipe-borne water. They deserve decent living conditions. And we can't afford this as a government, so we have to create the enabling environment for investors to invest, and we develop policies that can make it affordable.
You have 50 seconds, but since you've stopped, I'll ask you a question on that. What exactly would you offer to these investors that would bring them to Sierra Leone to invest in housing and water, rather than go to Ghana or Liberia or Guinea?
The political will. The political will must create the enabling environment by cutting the red tapes, no protocols, review the laws, give the facility that is required for them to believe this is home for them and invest.
Thank you very much indeed, Alhaji Musa Tarawali. We've had quite a bit of time talking here, and I think it's time we give you all a little break so that maybe you can stretch a little bit and you can have a sip of water or two. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you to the audience and to everybody listening and watching.
I hand you over to Hassan Harouni.
Thank you very much, John, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long evening, but we know that the road ahead is even longer, because one of these gentlemen here tonight will be leading us in the next 5 years. Once again, we have Alhaji Musa Tawali, Dr. Samura Kamara, retired Brigadier Julius Madabio, Mohammed Kamarin Bamansari, Dr. Kande Kole Yumkela, and Alhaji Chief Samuel Sam Sumana. Now, plenty of people in Sierra Leone today say times are hard. Prices are high compared to their purchasing or earning power. This is an economy that relies largely on the exports of raw materials, subsistence agriculture, and small trading, petty trading. Our industrial base is very low, and we have a debt, a foreign debt, which has gone over $1.5 billion. What will it take to turn this around, and how do you, the candidates here tonight, plan to do it? Let's start first by examining your plans on jobs and revenue and reducing donor dependency. We'll start with retired Brigadier Julius Madabio. You have 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. We have a serious problem with our economy. And to deal with this problem, we have to introduce some discipline in the way we spend the people's money. First is expenditure control. The APC government has been spending like drunken sailors. They've spent, the SLPP government left a reserve of over 5 billion leones and a foreign debt of about $250 million. As I speak to you, I'm just confirming what you said. We have a foreign debt of about 1.6 billion today. And of course, that tells you there is no reserve at all. This sort of reckless spending on the part of the government has created serious challenges for the people of this country. We have to introduce stringent measures. We also have to mobilize domestic revenue. We have to stop excessive tax exemptions due to waivers. That way we can create the savings necessary to support the government to pay for some of the essential services instead of having to depend on other countries or development cooperation partners to fund our own existence as a government. There is excessive expenditure on foreign travels. There is also a lot of use of foreign exchange on contracts within the country. These are things that we have to stop. So apart from mobilizing domestic revenue, we also have to make sure that we diversify our economy to be able to have more sources of revenue. And I have identified tourism as one of those areas to create more bases to diversify our revenue base. We transform the agriculture sector by certain policies to make sure that these productive sectors add up to our revenue base. I am going to seriously take action in the fishery sector so that we can have more revenue.
Thank you very much, retired Brigadier Julius Madabio. Could you just expound a little bit on the fishing sector? What will you do to make it different from what it is today?
We are losing quite a lot of money in that sector. We are not surveillancing our territorial waters. The governance of our fishery sector is non-existent. The license have not been monitored, so we are getting a meager sum of money from our fishery sector. So we have to look at that very seriously. For agriculture, we have to make sure that we can produce enough food and also cash crops and animals husbandry. We have to make sure that we can produce enough to eat at home and to sell so that we can generate foreign revenue for this country. that is how I intend to embark on the increasing the revenue or the intake of the government. We have the least domestic revenue mobilization effort in the whole of Africa. Whilst Liberia is doing 18% of GDP and Guinea 17% of GDP, we are doing a mere 11.1% of GDP.
Thank you very much. We'll turn now to Mr. Mohamed Kamarimba Mansari, turning the economy around. Your plans on jobs and revenue, reducing donor dependence.
Thank you, Hassan. You know, Sierra Leone is a consuming country. We don't produce. For goodness sake, the toothpaste to brush our teeth, we are importing a toothpick in this country and toothpaste. We don't produce anything. And I was just thinking, since I started my campaign, I've always speak the local language, which is the Creole. And tonight, most of them, the voters, the average voters, they really want to comprehend what I'm talking to them about. So I'm going to continue a little bit with my Creole accent. The economy. The one thing about economy, make I tell you one thing. I be don't talk and pay. We spend about $160 million just for import to staple food when rice. That needs to stop. We need to stop that. You come into tourism, for goodness sake, look at Gambia, then depend on tourism. And Sierra Leone, we are just a mess when it comes to tourism in this country. So we need to rebuild Sierra Leone. And some of the things then back when I talk about this donor, this is not the country where government, the past, this is not just APC, but APC as APP. When they give more money, you go bigger, then give more money, then they cry, oh my God, the party woke. Now look, they don't go give away more money. It's shameful. They know they think about how for go talk about trade, all then they think about how for bigger, for get more money. And like I said, the reckless spending of this government must stop. And with my government, I will make sure that I put in place responsible financial dealings that will benefit the average Sierra Leoneans. We need even this tax credit, where the waivers, where you see all over now, big companies, mining, road companies, them they get just for benefits because they don't bribe some of them government officials them. All that needs to stop. And with my government, I will be very much tight about the economy, and we go back and drop the US dollar to where it's supposed to be. But for now, it's almost 1 million leons to $100.
So, Mr. Mansari, when you talk about these, when you mention responsible measures that you will bring, can you elaborate a little bit?
Absolutely. One of the responsible measures is you cannot put a thief to take care of your money. So we need to hire, we forget people and we now sober-minded people, and we not corrupt-free, they record the show. We they put into place, because what it mean, money we mean for 30,000 people, 91 minister they take, it will be big, all the mansions them. So we need to put the right people where go able to govern this country. So one of them key in leadership, now the right people are around you. So that's now how my government will be responsible.
Thank you very much. We'll turn now to Dr. Kande Kola-Yunkela.
Thank you very much. One of the worst legacies of APC is ranker economics. This is the only country where you have them building roads instead of building schools. And these roads are 3 to 4 times more expensive than international benchmarks. So to get this economy back moving forward, we need to stabilize the economy. Meaning what? Control expenditures. Watch procurement. Number 3, make sure that we manage inflation well. Currently 17.8%. People are suffering. Manage your exchange rates and also lower interest rates and stop crowding out the private sector. We need to diversify the economy, creating new productive sectors, agribusiness supply chains, Some of these mining companies can also invest backwards to create supply chains for basic food stuff to their employees. We also need to look at tourism and also create a more viable digital economy with a lot of the youth that we have in the country. Fisheries, over 50%. There is a report that shows that over 50% of the trawlers are illegal trawlers. We are losing over $60 to $100 million just from bad management of the fishery sector. You know that I helped to build here a fisheries training school. The vision was for value addition onshore. That is not taking place. Also, to make sure that we meet the phytosanitary standards to be able to export directly to Europe. We still have to solve that problem. So if you look at the economy, if you stabilize the economy, you manage to invest in diversification, you need a vibrant and strong private sector to create jobs and wealth. So we will have special programs to work with the private sector. I'll set up a very solid economic management team. You already know that I have Samuel Itam with me. And that team will include some of the ex-governors, some of the managing directors of the private commercial banks and business people to work together on public-private partnership initiatives to stimulate this economy, create wealth, and create jobs.
Dr. Yumpela, can you explain that you did mention stabilizing the economy? What are these measures that you will put in place to do so?
Number one, expenditure controls. Our payroll is bloated. There's an estimate that when this government took over in 2006, we had 30 to 40,000 people on payroll. Now that's over 80,000. Some of those are ghost workers. BO mentioned some of the expensive traveling. And one of the biggest ones is procurement. And of course, the duty waivers and incentives that I mentioned before. 2011 alone, over 240 million just lost by duty waivers and all kinds of incentives given to entities that did not need it. You've got to plug that. You've got to manage also your exchange rate reserves, you've got to manage inflation and also interest rates. That's stabilization package.
Thank you very much. We'll turn now to Chief Samuel Samsumana. Your ideas on changing the economy, your plans on jobs and revenue and reducing donor dependency.
Thank you very much. One of the issues today I stand here that is rather disturbing is to find someone who has served as the governor of Central Bank, time Minister of Finance, and now that has failed the economy of this country, at the same time yearning to be the president of this country. It doesn't add up to me. We have to look at the realities of our economy. When we're looking at that, we have to make sure, in order to be more sustained, away from a donor-driven economy, we need to expunge corruption, minimize corruption to the highest level. We need to make sure that the leakages that are ongoing within the system are addressed. We need to make sure that there's added value to our natural resources or agricultural products. And when we look at all of this, the operationality of it, in the growth sector of the economy, being the marine resources, the mines or mineral resources, the agriculture, and the tourism. These are the growth sectors of the economy that we need to enhance and build the capacity that will bring us the revenue to help us stay away from a donor-driven economy. And so, though, under the Coalition for Change, in order to enhance that, we will put in place the operation of Feed Your Sierra Leone, Feed Yourself, Operation Feed Town. And that will also look into the agricultural sector, because our economy has been more of agro-based economy, looking back to the late 60s and 70s. We have to look at that. We have to make sure also that within the operations of added value, we under the Coalition for Change will make sure that we have one district, one factory, so that we can be able to add value to our natural resources and agricultural products. This will create employment. This will bring the tax revenue. and then will help us stay away from more of a donor-driven economy. We have to make sure that the current 16 trillion of deficit is addressed by cutting down. Why do we have to import rice? Just last year, under his watch, we had, and previous year, under his watch, we had over $400 million to import rice.
Thank you very much, Chief Senator Sam Sumana. I'd like to just caution candidates here going forward. It's very easy to throw a stone at the incumbent party's candidate because we've seen their performance and we haven't tested yours. I would like to encourage you to try not to throw those stones at him, but instead convince us of your alternative ideas. But I'd like to just pick up something that you said there. A promise to have one factory in one district. The first time I heard this promise, I think it was in the Ghana election, 2 Christmases or so ago, 2 Decembers ago. And the government that won, that's in power now, came up with this promise. But in the 1 year or so that they've been in power, they've been struggling to fulfill this promise. How will you fulfill this promise in Sierra Leone? You have a minute.
In Sierra Leone, what we are going to be looking into the aspect of private sector and government partners. We will be able to utilize what we have. For instance, with the natural resources that, since we have diamonds in this country, what is the added value of them? Look at the crude oil. We've only been shipping them out of this country. What have we done to that? In our agricultural sector, we believe that with the added value to our cocoa coffee, is it right to have cocoa from Germany when we have what it takes? Look at Stockfin. We can take that as an example and be able to create these cottage factories, small and medium factories within the various areas so that we're able to generate revenue and create jobs for our youths in this country. And I'm sure that jobs for our youths in this country. And I'm sure that what we have is a composition of both government and the private sector to enhance this ability of one district, one factory.
Thank you very much indeed. Alhaji Musa Tarawali, you've heard what they've all said about how they will transform the economy, how they will create jobs and revenue and reduce donor dependency. What will you do?
This is the most important question. And it makes the debate my debate. I have researched this for 35 years. And I will give you the solution. I won't waste my time on the problem analysis, but the solution. We have to create seed capital for this country. Without seed capital, we can't be sustainable. So I will establish a national development fund. This fund will invest in the capacity of the people, make them productive to live a decent standard of life and to pay tax to government. The only way we can move from the donor-driven economy is when we have our people to pay tax, feel the sense of responsibility. And let me tell you how we can achieve this. The first thing is to maximize revenue generation. Deploy a secured and integrated system that can generate revenue and produce record on a daily basis. All revenue collection points, we have the machines, a single retrieve system. It will eradicate fraud and all malpractices in revenue generation. And it will be integrated with the Asikuda and other sources of revenue. The second thing to do is to audit the existing mining companies and industries, their stock, their operations and export, identify the defaulters, and use the rule of law to get back what we've lost
as a nation. The third thing is to do geospatial survey. Scientifically prove all our mineral resources, arable land, water sources, forest reserve, marine potential. Develop bankable business plans on them. And back up.
Thank you, Alhaji Musa Tali. I just want you to just elaborate a little bit on these systems that generate revenue.
I want to inform listeners that I have already developed a bankable business plan on this at no cost to government. The system will be deployed.
But it is still epileptic, as far as I know, because I live in Freetown. We have to be properly planned as a nation. We don't just take opportunistic look at infrastructure. We have to plan. We have to decide as to what we want to support our economic development process. Definitely, generation, transmission is important, but at the moment, that is not what we have. So we want to look at sustainable energy supply, and that is where we use the energy from the sun to make sure that at least we can provide light for our homes around the country. Of course, with bigger farms, solar farms, we can actually supply energy to these villages to support the health facilities, to support education facilities like school, and for other uses. So, in my view, at this point in time, we should spend a lot of time thinking about how we are going to really embark on the use of sustainable energy to take care of our energy needs at this point in time. But when you wait until the currency devaluates by 165%, it becomes difficult. And that has happened under the leadership of Dr. Kamara. We also have an expenditure of over how many million? For 4,700 people employed by the executive, the total salary for just 4,500 exceeds that of the 10,000 policemen we have, and all of the soldiers, and even the fire force.
Thank you very much, retired Brigadier Julius Madavio. Thank you. When you mentioned the solar farms, could you expand a little bit on the scale of these solar farms, these bigger plants that you're talking about?
My brother, again, I have to refer to him because he has worked a lot in that area, spoke about individual houses. From that, we have to think about collective energy supply to be able to undertake other activities besides just provision of light in these houses. Solar farms are bigger entities wherein more solar panels are deployed and collected, and sometimes even connected to mini grids or national grids. So that is what we have to really consider at this point in time.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm so sorry?
Rebuttals.
We were doing it in the other round, but I'd like to just move now quickly to the next round, because we've not been doing that in this round, and it will be unfair to give you that privilege now. But I'll start with you now, Haji Kande Koleyumkela, and I'd like us to talk about violence and national cohesion. If you were to become president of Sierra Leone, and even in the run-up to the election that could make you president of Sierra Leone, how will you assure us that you, your party, including supporters and operatives, will have no hand in violence, and that post-election you will work for peace and national inclusivity and cohesion? I'll give you 1 minute for that.
The National Grand Coalition, as we've said, is a rainbow party. We've been very inclusive in bringing people in. We've preached only peace and inclusiveness. And so far, All our activities have been non-violent. And I want to pledge to the people of Sierra Leone, we do not believe in violence. And we will continue the march towards a progressive Sierra Leone that is peaceful, where the rule of law is obeyed, and indeed we create a unified nation. That is why we are a grand coalition of progressives. We, in fact, have suffered from violence. The last 2 days, we've been bringing in people from Mile 91 to the IG. We're very grateful that the IG has intervened because the APC is harassing our people in Mile 91. We've been harassed in Cambia as well. So we are non-violent. You have to worry about the Al-Hussein and Al-Hassan that have that tendency of violence.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yumkela. We'll go to Chief Samuel Sam Sumana.
Thank you very much. Already, I stand here very proud as an example of someone who believes in non-violence. Precisely, having been unconstitutionally removed, I decided there will be no violence in people of this country. I resolved that I will give peace a chance, unlike what happened in South Sudan or recently Zimbabwe, because my people have suffered too long. They have suffered to a point under the Civil War, and then it was my responsibility to uphold the Constitution, seek redress, wherein I restore the dignity of the Constitution of this country from the dictatorship. Notwithstanding that, my party, under the coalition of change, the party of inclusivity, wherein we have all tribes included, we believe that we have to put nation first against our individual satisfaction. It is a party that does not believe in the pettiness of tribalism. It does not believe in...
Thank you very much indeed, Chief Samuel Sam Sumana. We'll turn now to Alhaji...
I thought I watched my time.
It's 1 minute. That was a mistake. They put a 2 minute counter.
Well, you gave me the comfort. I just wanted to go.
Okay. Our apologies. Shall we turn now to you, Alhaji Musa Tarawali? How will you assure us that you, your party, including supporters and operatives, will have no hand in violence, and that after the election, you will work for peace and national inclusivity and cohesion? 1 minute.
My party is in coalition with 3 other parties. We believe in inclusion. I have transformed a lot of youths from being violent to useful citizens. I think we are a fine example of how Sierra Leone should move forward. We have the PLP, the REFP, the PDP, and the CDP. And when I win after March, I will have most of them as my advisors. We believe in coalition. I don't believe in tribalism. I am a Mende Madingo. My wife is a Timini. We have to put the development of the country above party, above color, above tribe.
Thank you very much indeed. We'll turn now to Dr. Samura Kamara.
I think, Hassan, it's fair to say that the last 10 years, we've really enjoyed peace and tranquility. And therefore, it is important that during these elections, we try to ensure that there is peace and stability. You don't want our youth or any of them to die just for one event, which occurs on the 7th of March. We don't like that. But I think what is worrying is violence is normally associated where politicians like us who want to be heads of state are so desperate that at any cost we must be winners and become presidents. And that's why we try to use the youth wrongfully to drive our ambition. And this is why I want to preach against. But I will tell you that our party, the APC, is very much committed to ensure that there is peace and quiet during the elections.
Thank you very much indeed, and we'll quickly go to retired Brigadier Julius Madabio.
Well, I will start by saying that I'm a victim of APC violence. I was attacked in broad daylight in Bowtown and injured. I went to hospital and I had to be treated, and that created a lot of commotion. Having said that, violence is actually a national malaise. And that is because of the fact that law enforcement is very weak in this country. And really, when you talk about the weakness of law enforcement, it starts from State House. Certain people are favored. But you can rest assured that the SLPP, which believes that there is only one country for us as one people, we will do everything to make sure that this election is violence-free. We lost the last election under very dubious circumstances, but I follow the rule of law. We always follow the rule of law, but we are going to assert our position that the election must be free and fair, transparent, and above board.
Thank you very much indeed, and we'll turn now to Mr. Mohammed Kamarimba Mansari.
Hassan, I take this opportunity for talk to the youth to them. You know, we don't foresee that they give youth to them drugs, alcohol, for go cause mayhem, for go cause problem. The message to all the youth then of this country, not allow politicians to use you. Not allow politicians for go by total pack for you and tell you to go attack other person. In Pekin, in fact, you know they work out in Pekin where they go campaign. In Pekin, and either they na host or they oversee. Juya, Sierra Leone will not get APC Sierra Leone, will not get SLPP Sierra Leone, will not get ADP Sierra Leone. Now one Sierra Leone will get. Will not get any northern or eastern or southern Sierra Leone. Now one Sierra Leone. So me government and my political party stand very firm to tell Sierra Leoneans and say we they conform with the rule of law and support the police for law get a real credible, free and fair election.
Thank you very much indeed. So you've all spoken and we've given you a chance a few times to challenge each other. Now I'd like to give you all 3 minutes each so that you can remind the people of Sierra Leone about the good plans that you say you have for them and why you are the man for the position of the presidency of Sierra Leone. And in the order in which you balloted for this particular round, start with the candidate of the NGC, Dr. Kande Kole Yumkela.
Sierra Leoneans, I have presented myself as a servant to you to lead your nation. My party believes in an inclusive society that is free, fair, and just, where every individual has an opportunity to unleash their potential. I pledge to you today that my interest in leading you is to work for the common man, to ensure that we have jobs for the youth, that the poor market woman that labors every day in the market to sell their wares can go back home and feed their families, that the many unemployed young men and women have the skills that will make them employable, that we build an educational system that we're proud of, that will make us competitive around the world, that in fact our medical services are robust enough, good enough, that yes, we can do good diagnosis in our country, that we have good enough medical services here to treat our people instead of flying them overseas. Salon people, I dey talk to una. I don't come, I not get no baggage. I not thief nobody money na ya. But I come with experience. I come with sababu and goodwill where we need for make the country better for una. We can't forfeit for the common man. For let that common man get in daily living, make he get respect. Waiting na respect. Now where youth man wake na morning, able left chop money in a house, able give him picking school fee for go school, and where in weft sick, able send an hospital. Waiting na respect. Now where that woman self gets income, he get job, he able help in family, for himself land book. Waiting na respect. Now where we dey ensure say we young girl there, no go get belle na school. Waiting na respect. Now where teacher doing work well, where then we pay and well, where we train and well, for educate we picking them for the future. And yes, where we the politician, no they no more they thief una money. They thief una money, they help we and we family no more. They take we minerals there, sell and cheap, because somebody give we money for we safe no more. Now that make we cannot politics. The National Grand Coalition
one change for una. We don't get the same system for 56 years. Where one do one, he pass on to the other. Una try something new. New driver, new motorcar. New motorcar, new driver. We NGC, we say united we stand united. You touch one, you touch we all. And we were they suffer, now we boku. We were one good school, now we plenty. We were one good job, now we plenty. Let God help we all, as we can say in Islam, Salli ala Muhammad.
Thank you very much. You have 3 minutes. The next candidate will go to for his closing remarks. 3 minutes is the candidate of the Alliance Democratic Party, Mohammed Kamarimba Mansari.
Me Talon Fambulem. I want to tell you say tonight we get voice in this country. Now Mohammed Kamarimba Mansari. The only opposition in this country. Now Mohammed Kamarimba Mansari. They all been just sit down and been quiet. They all been muted. But now, 1 month, 2 month election, they all get all the experience. They all want knock chest who can lead this country. But believe in me, the Sierra Leonean people, they know better. The Sierra Leonean, they know the one way we don't stick for them in this country. They know what we don't they talk for them. The one way ready for sacrifice. We don't go all out for make this country a better country. Me go deliver Salon. I go come make Sierra Leone. You go be proud for be a Sierra Leonean. I go come make a Sierra Leone where if you want work, you go get work. I go come make a Sierra Leone where if you want business opportunity, you go able to go get money in a bank for make business. Not to just foreigners then we go Canada this country here for come, then come better themselves. Where Sierra Leone don't be third-class citizen, fourth-class citizen. It's a no. Now Mohammed Kamarimba Mansari presidency. I know they accept that, and I tell you this, me go can deliver that. And lastly, fellow Sierra Leoneans, I know for sure when I don't follow in this country, I don't go all over the country. All of the action is now number 2 at the end of the ballot, just go try for votes for the ADP and Mohammed Kamarimba.
Thank you
all over
very much.
Thank you very much.
And we turn now to Alhaji Musa Tarawali of the Citizens Democratic Party.
The people of Sierra Leone, today, I don't make one understand that Mina, an inspired, innovative, experienced and visionary leader, we don't study the problems of Sierra Leone and develop a well-defined plan for this country in development. Me promise Sona that me go make the people of Sierra Leone. President Kaba, the late, come, done the war. President Nkrumah, he don't make some roads. Me, they can't make the people of Sierra Leone. Or make them become productive with a sense of responsibility, for pay tax, or make we move from the donor-driven economy to sustainable development. I want to assure you that me not to the lawyer, me not to the doctor, me not to the engineer, but I get the vision we will develop Sierra Leone. And once we people are empowered or make they own the process, be responsible to the country, and become the beneficiaries of the development process, then pull go down at this country. This country, none of we not go make it without God. Therefore, we forget the fear of God and be responsible to our people. We for lead with people, for worship God, so that God will guide with development process. This country, in politicking, it remove God from the process and entrench the politics, enshrines, tribalism, color, parties, above the development of the people. That is why I believe, we therefore establish God as the platform and driving force who go guide we all. We want lead una today. And once God give
the wisdom and understanding for champion this country in development process, then we go achieve her. We people don't suffer a lot. They're not able to afford 3 meals. They're not able to afford good health facility, good education for them people. We prepare them, now the missions we educate them. Sierra Leone be known as the destination for education. And now the missions, both Islamic and Christian missions,
thank you very much, Alhaji Musa Tawali. Let's turn now to the candidate of the Coalition for Change, Alhaji Chief Samuel Sam Sumana. 3 minutes for your closing remark.
Thank you. Fellow Sierra Leoneans, stand before you today. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity that as Vice President of this from 2007 to 2012. And thank you again for granting me the opportunity to serve you from 2012. But for the unconstitutionality of present regime that obstructed your vote, taking away your vote, in which Section 5 of the 1991 Constitution, wherein sovereignty belongs to the state, was thwarted by the present regime. I say to you, it was my pledge that I would uphold and maintain the Constitution of this country. So I decided that my country had gone through a whole lot. Instead of going back to the bush, like our unfortunate brothers did, instead, I decided to take the bitter pill and put nation first and restore the dignity of the Constitution of this country. Because you have suffered too long. It doesn't make sense
Alert from
for my
reminders.
individual satisfaction
Mike
to wage
Video
war
Prom.
again because of what was done to me. I wage war again because of what was done to me. I today stand before all of you, and I had to run away to give peace a chance, unlike what happened in South Sudan or in Zimbabwe, to make sure that you stay in peace. And I went and fought to bring back peace to the country that we all love. Today, as I stand here, I want you to give me the opportunity that experience being the best master among all of us contestants. I have served ISO, and I'll bring to you the issue of good governance. I'll make sure that there is transparency and accountability during my tenure of office. I'll make sure that there is equality for women in this country. No more 30, 70%, or equal opportunity for all, and for the youth of this nation. And I say to all of you that the disabled will be recognized in this country. I further say to you that I pledge that I will do my best to make sure that the social services of this country are addressed, making sure utilities are provided, making sure that electricity or water supply will be things of the past. I promise and I pledge that if you give me the opportunity again, I'll make sure that we revive the economy of this country. No more shall our youth say again, "Rai Bobodeo," but they will get up and be productive citizens of. And I promise that what we stand for as a nation, we shall exalt when we all put hands on deck, as we say in the coalition for change, nation first, against our individual sacrifice.
Thank you very much. We turn now to Dr. Samura Kamara of the All People's Congress.
Thank you, Aslam. We family them. Today, a big day for we all. Don't listen to 6 of we who want to be presidents of this country or lead UNA to the next 5 years. I want to tell UNA say, since the war ended, we signed peace in 2002, Khalid don't make enough progress or move forward promoting cause the civil war in this country. In the process, we don't suffer a terrible disease, don't suffer a terrible environmental disaster, don't suffer other forces. We make them trying to find ways for finance our economic development. But I can tell now one thing, and I also would all know that the greatest development we don't see in Sierra Leone during the last 10 years of the APC government. Now the APC no more, I don't make sure today we don't get well over 1,700 kilometers of road. And we'll continue for build more roads. Because the colleagues are waiting up now, none of them know they drive the Mosokana Gota, then they drive now the good road. But they're still blind for CC, nothing will not do, and road developments no matter. We don't try for improve the energy sector, or make sure say energy available to everybody in the country. We'll not get there, but certainly we will try for move for expand energy supply. Similarly, in the health sector, the lesson we learn from Ebola, it tell we say we need for do more on the health sector for make them responsive and resilient. We need for do more or involve with local communities. We see how partnership with the local communities, good partnership with international development partners will carry way forward. We need to do more in the water system, even though today almost all the major towns in this country get water system over the last 10 years. In education, we don't build more schools, bigger enrollment. All universities today as composed to the time we only get 2. I think we don't do very well. Teachers are better remunerated. In the security sector, the police, the army, and all other security apparatus, they all don't try to improve the operational qualities and moving forward. Yes, we have to do more. And that's why it is good when I get somebody like me, we'll get experience. We honestly appreciate what the government don't do before, not for deny like a blind, and then for try for move forward and do more together with Una. I need Una support. This my Sierra Leone, your Sierra Leone.
We'll now call upon the final presidential candidate at this presidential debate tonight to give his final pitch to the people of Sierra Leone. Retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio of the Sierra Leone People's Party.
The people of Sierra Leone, I have served this nation as your head of state, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Sierra Leone, and your first Chief of Defense Staff. So I have the unique experience of running a state, and I did so when it was at war. If you want to hit the ground running, then I am your best candidate. Me, not to apprentice. I have come from a disciplined background. I promise to provide credible, disciplined leadership to help us move the development process in this country. With every modesty, I am one of the most enduring political figures of our time and the most popular at this point in time. Many remember and think and call me the father of democracy because I promised democracy for this country and I delivered. I promised peace for this country and I delivered. So when I make my promises, it is against a credible track record that you can rely on. I have fought for this nation. When many were hiding, I fought for you. I also have a credible plan to save this nation, and I have a credible team to help me execute that plan. I have said this election is about the future of our great nation, Sierra Leone. The future of our children, the future of our grandchildren. The people of this country are suffering immensely under the weight of rampant corruption and mismanagement of the APC. So if you want democratic change to end their suffering, vote Julius Maada Bio and the SLPP. If you want free education for our children, vote Julius Maada Bio and the SLPP. If If you want jobs for our youths roaming the streets, vote Julius Maada Bio and the SLPP. If you want an end to rampant corruption, indiscipline and lawlessness, where nobody is above the law, and I mean nobody is above the law, vote Julius Maada Bio and the SLPP. If you want good hospitals, good roads, electricity for all Sierra Leoneans, better salaries for our teachers, nurses, police, military, prison officers, and all public sector workers, then vote Julius Maada Bio. If you want efficient political and economic management of the state and its natural resources for the benefit of all Sierra Leoneans, vote Julius Maada Bio and the SLPP. If you want inclusive government, inclusive development, where everyone is in and no one is out,
thank you very much.
Julius Maada Bio and the SLPP.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure listening to you all, gentlemen, and in a moment I'll be giving my closing remarks.